Hi everyone, and welcome to Lake Oswego United Church of Christ. My name is Adam Erickson, and today I'm going to talk with you about one of the readings that we're going to have this Sunday, our third Sunday of Lent. You remember in the first Sunday of Lent, we talked about Jesus going into the desert for 40 days. Well, this Sunday of Lent, we remember the Israelites as they left Egypt on their way through to the Promised Land, and they entered the desert for 40 years. And our story today is from Exodus chapter 17, verses 1 through 7. And here they're stopping and putting out their camp for the night. And there's no water around, and the people are thirsty. And they come to Moses and they say, hey, we're thirsty, we need some water. And they escalate a little bit and they say, why did you bring us out of Egypt just to kill us out here in the desert? Because there is no water. So Moses takes this complaint and he goes to God and says, these Israelites are out of control, they're complaining against me, they're grumbling against you, God. And what am I supposed to do because they're about to stone me? Now, there's an important element going on here as far as social dynamics go. Whenever our culture as human beings has a crisis happening, we're always looking for someone to blame. Who is it that we can blame for this situation? And the Israelites end up blaming their leader, Moses. And so often we get caught up in this cycle of blame. But notice what Moses does. Moses goes to God and tries to get God on his side against the Israelites. So we're always trying to unite with someone or even with God over and against our enemies or over and against the other. And this is just part of social human dynamics. We see it throughout history. But I want you to notice in the story what God does. God does not join either side in the accusations. What God does is say, okay, what's the problem? You need water. So let's go get some water. So God performs this miracle and has Moses tap this rock with his staff, and out of the rock comes water. Now, here's the important part of this story, I think, is that so often when we get in these crises, when we start blaming one another, we forget about what the real problem is. Have you ever been in an argument with someone and the next day you start thinking, man, I know that we were fighting about something, but I can't remember what it was? That's what happens when we start accusing one another in this way. We forget about what the real problem is, and thus we forget how to find solutions. Instead, what we become consumed with is how to defeat our opponents. So what God does is not play that game, not play the blame game, but keeps the object in front of view so that we can solve these problems. So maybe amongst your family, you can talk about a time when you got in a fight with someone and you completely forgot what it was that you were fighting about. You can talk about a time in our culture. Maybe it's with healthcare these days when sides are blaming one another and we're missing solutions that could be right in front of us. I mean, this story about getting water is about meeting the basic needs, healthcare needs, of our fellow human beings. And how can we work together in a way that keeps healthcare at the center of our discussions and not accusations against one another? In that way, hopefully we can work together to find solutions for the real problems. So I hope you have a great day and that you can join us this Sunday at 10:30 here at Lake Oswego United Church of Christ. Until then, grace and peace be with you.